Hey, what up, guys? Coming here this morning, we're going to discuss the weekend recap from Saturday, January 18th. We had a couple cards on that night, 3 fights between those 2 cards to talk about. So let's jump into the ESPN Plus card, which we're only going to talk about the main event. Excuse me. The rest of the card really wasn't worth talking about. So the main event saw former light heavyweight champion Eleider Alvarez, that's 175, return to action to take on veteran Michael Seals. Heading into the fight, Alvarez was obviously the favorite, but he hadn't fought in almost a year since losing the title to Sergey Kovalev in their rematch. So at 34, 35 years old, we're wondering what kind of Alvarez we were going to see against Michael Seals, who's a veteran, a game veteran, who was looking to pull off the upset. But Alvarez proved why he is talented and why he still is my number 3 light heavyweight in the world right now, as he landed. He was winning the fight, on points and everything, but then he landed a huge overhand right. I mean, one of the best right hands I've truly, and perfectly timed right hands I've seen, and knocked Michael Seals out cold. It was a fantastic knockout win. To get his, get right back into the mix of things. And Alvarez, that win could lead him into a Joe Smith fight next. So we'll talk about his what's next over the weekend. But, yeah, a huge win right there for Eleider Alvarez. I was very impressed by that, and really looking forward to seeing him back in action. So congrats to him on that win. Now let's go over to the Fox card. That was a doubleheader. On the undercard, we saw undefeated Chris Cobert taking on former world champion Jezreel Corrales for the WBA interim super featherweight title. That's 130 pounds. Cobert, widely untested, but good record coming in. Is trying to put himself into the mix at 130 pounds against Corrales, who is a good veteran. Corrales at one point was at the very top of this division. He had fought a few guys at 130 and beaten a few guys, especially Takashi Uchiyama was a big guy that he had defeated before. So he was looking to bounce back into the picture, but he just couldn't handle Colbert's power and his good boxer puncher, come straight forward type stuff that he had, the type style that he has. And I was really impressed by Cobert. I wasn't surprised that he won, but the fact that he was able to dominate for the most part and, knock down Corrales, and he got a clean decision victory in this one to capture the interim world title, it could put him into the top 10. I'm going to evaluate the top 10, take a look at things, but this was a really good win for Cobert. Dominant, convincing win, leaving no doubt, and now he pushes forward towards something bigger, hopefully later in the year. But he is a bright star in the division. I was happy with what I saw. PBC doesn't have a lot of guys at 130, so this kind of opens the door up for him possibly taking on the 1 or 2 guys that they do have there, and like Leo Santa Cruz, that gives him options. So, we'll see. But a nice performance out of Cobert. Looking forward to seeing him back in action. And then the main event on Fox was a shocker. We saw Julian J-Rock Williams get upset for his world titles, his unified world titles, when Jason Rosario knocked him out in the 5th round of their fight. Rosario kind of came out of nowhere. He was an unknown. J-Rock was coming off his big win last May when he upset Jarrett Hurd, and was looking to bounce back and get a successful first defense of his belt before doing bigger things later in the year. And clearly he was overlooking Jason Rosario, because Rosario came out and just pretty much put the pressure and landed good hard shots from the get-go. And I thought J-Rock was going to weather the storm at first, but you could just tell that Rosario was just kept coming at him and landing good hard shots, and that J-Rock couldn't handle the power, and it was affecting him. So finally he got caught in the 5th round and hurt badly and put down, and that was all she wrote. So we got a new unified champion in Jason Rosario, big time win. We'll discuss his what's next over the weekend. But J-Rock did say he has an immediate rematch clause, so again, we'll get into the what's next later this weekend. But huge upset. We already have a number one falling, which was Williams. J-Rock was the number one 154-pounder. That super welterweight. He was the number one guy there. So this definitely is going to shake things up. We're going to crown a new number one at 154 right now, and a guy against the guy who is unheralded and came out of nowhere. So big time win for Jason Rosario, and that's pretty much it, guys. So go back and take a look at the highlights. There's some good highlights over the weekend, and make sure you're paying attention going forward. Again, I'll discuss the what's next on the main events on Sunday. Hope you enjoyed this. True Boxing, been hit with the truth.